Hello and welcome to GeForce. I'm Julian and I have great news for fans of horror games around the world. These two gentlemen next to me have been making Resident Evil 2, the remake. And the first thing I want to know, why do you feel like it was time to bring Resident Evil 2 to today?
We've had a lot of demand from the fans over the years for a Resident Evil 2 remake, and we just felt this was the right timing to bring this classic survival horror experience right up to date using the latest video game hardware technology and produce an experience that will definitely satisfy all of the fans.
So I watched the footage from the update and I'm so excited. Were you worried at all taking such a classic game and having a chance to redo it?
There was definitely some pressure in taking something like this on board, but I felt it was a very worthwhile experience to look back at the series history and to use the know-how that I've gained in the meantime on my time working on the series and put that to use in the remake. So there was pressure, but I think it's been a really worthwhile experience for me.
The first game came out 20 years ago. Obviously, aside from graphics changing a lot in that time, what gameplay advances have you brought to this new version of Resident Evil?
Aside from the graphics, the control system has also been modernized greatly. We've actually taken some inspiration from Resident Evil 7 in this regard, and the aiming feels quite similar to that game. You're able to move more freely and aim more freely, and I think that makes the game a more comfortable experience for modern gamers.
Part of the great thing about the first Resident Evil 2, though, was how uncomfortable it was. The tank controls, the aiming kept you scared with the zombies coming after you. Is there a way to still keep these players fearful of the world around them?
We've got a lot of tools in our arsenal to produce really scary experiences for gamers, even though the controls are no longer scary, whether that's level design itself, not knowing what's around the next corner. Our usage of light and dark and lighting in the scenes really lets us create an effective atmosphere. We've also been able to introduce 3D sound for the first time, and hearing the moans and things coming from different directions and angles is going to really up the scariness a lot.
When you're making a game based on such a classic, how important is it to pay homage to the original, but still branch out and do your own thing?
We're mostly respecting and sticking to the key beats of the storyline of the original game, but we're taking the chance to sort of revitalize it and refresh it by recontextualizing certain elements, whether that's taking situations and putting them in a different location in the game, slightly adjusting the timeline of what happens to make some things happen before others. So even though you largely know what's going to happen, there'll still be some cool surprises in store.
This game is beloved by gamers of our age and generation. How do you think people who maybe were too young when the first one came out are going to react to your new game?
I think younger modern gamers, even if they have never had a chance to play the original game, they'll be aware of it and they'll know that it's a classic masterpiece. Maybe for them it's difficult to go back and experience older games because there's too much of a hurdle to entry when it comes to old-fashioned controls and game designs and systems. That makes this actually a perfect opportunity for them to see what the fuss is about through the lens of a more modern game design. So I think no matter what your experience level of Resident Evil 2, this will be a great game for you. Scary zombies are one of the things we're trying to push with this game. Doesn't matter whether you know the original Resident Evil 2, you're going to find these creatures amazingly scary and also really tough but satisfying to beat. The fact that the controls are better than the original game and you can aim more freely means that you've got more tools at your disposal, but that means we've also had the zombies up their game. They're smarter and they're going to be harder to take down, so that's going to be a satisfying experience regardless of whether or not you know the original Resident Evil 2. With regards to the characters too, Leon and Claire are such amazing personalities and we've really added a lot of depth to them in this game and brought it really more up to date in terms of storytelling. So people who have never played Resident Evil 2 in the first place, I think will still get to know and love the characters. Claire in particular is a character we're showing for the first time here at Gamescom in action, and I think that everyone's going to love Claire, whether or not they knew the original game.
The first game came out on the first PlayStation 20 years ago. What's it like now building a modern game for the PC?
Developing a game with the latest technology means that we're competing right at the top of the industry, so it's been really motivating for us to try and make our mark in that region, and there's a lot to learn for us when it comes to PC development, and it's actually been a really great learning experience.
After this game comes out, have you considered maybe remaking any other classic horror games in the Resident Evil franchise, or do you think this game has given you ideas on where to go from here?
At the moment, we're focused on finishing up the Resident Evil 2 remake and releasing it and seeing how people receive it. So we want to see how everyone likes this game, and at the same time, Capcom has always had a general direction of utilizing our legacy of amazing games and assets and trying to find new exciting ways to bring those to new audiences. So that direction is something we'll always have as a company.
Well, I can't wait to see Leon and Claire back in action. It's so exciting. Thank you both for bringing this game back and letting us talk to you about it today.
Please look forward to it on January 25th, 2019. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for tuning in here on GeForce. And don't forget, we've got tons of coverage here from Cologne, and we're giving away 10 RTX 2080 Ti's for people who subscribe and leave comments on those videos. Don't miss out, and I'll see you next time here on GeForce.